Welcome back to another video. We're Ben and Sarah from Pack Lunch and Travel. This is not the typical, well, I should say, it's not the video we want to make, but we feel like we need to make. We're going to share our experience, the good, the bad and ugly of Airbnb. We've been through a bit of a mare. We've just started the full-time travel, so we thought it'd be important to share this experience.
We started full-time travel at the end of May. We left the UK on the Channel and we had a great couple of months. June and July were epic. Driving through Europe, we went to new countries, we went on amazing hikes, saw great waterfalls, we had a really good time. Then we had an issue with our car, which meant that we had to change our plan a little bit and head back to the UK at the end of July instead of our original plan, which was to go into the non-Schengen countries of Bosnia, Serbia and Montenegro. And we were back here at the very end of July. We always thought that August would be a difficult month wherever we were for booking anything because it's peak summer obviously, but it meant that we were last minute booking stuff in August in the UK, which is really not ideal. So obviously we didn't really know how long it was going to take to get our car booked, so we were booking very short little stays back to back, sort of 2 and 3 days just to get the car fixed, and then we booked a couple of slightly longer stays for the rest of August. The first was in Nottingham and we spent 10 days there.
Yeah, 10 days. And
we just decided to chill out, didn't we, and catch up on editing, walk in the local parks, and it was fine.
But let's get on to the real reason we're making this video. We decided to head north because it made sense to us, because ultimately we were coming to Scotland, which is where we are now, so we thought we'd head north, and we ended up in Bradford. The plan was it'd be quite a good base. Originally thought it'd be quite a good base. We're near close to shops and stuff, but there's also walks and waterfalls.
There was a surprising amount actually round.
Quite near actually, yeah. So I thought, well, we could blend the two together, it might be quite good.
That's right. We'd booked 18 nights in Bradford, and that was going to join up with our Scotland trip, like you say, which we'd booked for the month of September. I want to just say that we have nothing against Bradford. It's a great city. It's the city of culture, in fact, 2025, and I know that there's a lot of great stuff to do there, and this experience has nothing to do with the city or anything like that.
No, this is all about Airbnb, basically, and how they dealt with it.
Yeah.
Well, we turned up to the Airbnb. As ever, it's always difficult to find a parking. It wasn't the best instructions at all. So we were driving around the area for about 10 minutes. As we were trying to find a park, and we did see someone keeping a bit of a close eye on us. They definitely moved to different parts of the road whilst we were there. And it felt a bit strange, but we thought, well, let's just carry on, don't you? You just look for your parking and get on with it. We got in the place eventually, and pretty much within 30 seconds we realised the photos looked a bit different.
And when you say a bit, this wasn't even the same apartment. It was quite clear the photos were not of the place that we were standing in.
No, I mean, there was adjustments. The kitchen's alongside the room and stuff.
Yeah, it was a completely different flat.
We probably thought we didn't get our money back at this point, and we may have to just get on with it, sort of thing.
And it probably wouldn't have been bad enough that we wouldn't have stayed.
We would have. I feel like we would have stayed.
So in the time that we had been inside the flat, which was a ground floor flat, somebody had been very near our car using drugs. There was a discarded needle and a vial really near to the car. So there was obviously drug use around, and it did make us feel really uncomfortable that this needle had been left right near our car. One, because we then felt a bit vulnerable in terms of having stuff in the car and leaving it there overnight. It could be a target for someone to just see if there's anything interesting in there they might want to rob. And two, we nearly stood on it.
I mean, I can only imagine what would have happened.
And that's a pretty dangerous situation. So we thought we'd get our cases in and get onto Airbnb and say, look, what can we do about this? So we took some photos of the needle, the vial, the location, and sent them to Airbnb, didn't we?
So Airbnb contacted us, didn't they, after that, and said, are you safe? Or do you feel safe?
They just said, do you feel safe? And we said, no.
Not particularly, no.
And we didn't really know what that meant at the time, but it seemed to initiate this set process that Airbnb have, which is called an emergency relocation program, which sounds crazy. Sounds like something out of Breaking Bad, but that is genuinely what it is called. And that just seemed to happen, didn't it?
Yeah. It's almost like it was in stages and we weren't quite sure. They never really told us what was going on particularly, did they?
No, we didn't really feel like we were in control of anything that happened.
They just kind of casually said, do you want to stay in a hotel? We can pay for a hotel room. That's how it kind of started.
That's right.
When I thought, well, if we're going to offer to pay for a hotel, then let's just do it.
And it means we could get out of there that night. We didn't have to stay the night. And by this time it was getting a bit dark. And we really didn't want to stay there after dark. So we thought, okay, we'll go with it. And we ended up finding a hotel in the city centre which had a room, which was okay. And we booked it, and they were going to reimburse us with that money, weren't they?
When we left that place.
Oh yeah, when we were leaving.
There was a car with the engine on, with the lights running. I was trying to get the suitcases in the back, did my back in, trying to rush, and there was at least 5 cars queued up down the road with the lights on too. There was people flashing the headlights and they were walking in between the cars.
I mean, this was clearly a drug dealing centre. It was not small fry in any way.
Well, clearly this host should not be hosting Airbnb rentals there.
No.
At all.
Clearly not. You had the thought of cancelling the booking that night. And fortunately, the refund policy on that booking was 40% back.
Roughly, yeah. That's 600 and odd quid from the 1400 we spent.
If we'd cancelled it on that same day, which is lucky because that doesn't always happen.
And I thought, well, we ain't getting anywhere here, to be fair. I didn't particularly trust Airbnb before this.
No, we didn't.
To do any good.
No. And we definitely didn't trust this host by now, because obviously he's lied about the flat being what it is and must know the situation outside the door of this apartment building. There's no way you couldn't know what was going on around there. So we just thought, we'll get out the money that we could on that night. We stayed in the Premier Inn, and then we just we got up so early. I mean, we didn't really sleep. We were up early the next morning, just replanning where to go. Airbnb had said that they would pay for 3 nights hotel stay. So we did end up booking another rental, and they paid for the first 2 nights of that rental. So they'd effectively paid for 3 nights of stay.
Yeah, we've got 3 nights paid for, plus the cancellation money. I don't even understand how we got the money we got back from here. Do you?
As far as I understand it, they could pay for the difference between whatever we had to book last minute having been relocated and what we would have paid if we'd stayed there. And that came out to a bit more money. So
400 quid voucher?
That's right, they did it in terms of a voucher. So after we'd got to that point, we'd got quite a lot of our money back. Not all of it, but probably most.
And then
about 1,200 or so.
We put in a request for more money back because we thought, well, this doesn't seem right at all, that we'd lose any money.
No. And
the host refused to do anything to help us out or refund us or anything. He was claiming that families stay there all the time and he's completely happy. even asked him the question, would he let his own family stay there and risk stepping on that needle that we nearly chuffing did. And he didn't reply to that, funny enough.
And when we followed that up with Airbnb, you could tell that they were on our side, but they didn't want to say, because they ended up giving us $100 more in just a compensation payment because they said the host couldn't help. So that was actually the good bit of the experience. Airbnb actually did help us in that moment to get out from an unsafe situation and get quite a lot of our money back.
Yeah, we just found an alternate accommodation, and ultimately we had to leave a review to let everyone else know not to bloody stay here.
It's completely unsafe. Like you said, the guy shouldn't have been hosting in that location anyway. So we had to leave the review to say what the truth of the situation was. So obviously we gave it a 1 star. We said exactly what happened. We didn't really go into a lot of detail. We just said that it was unsafe, that there was drug dealing happening on the property, because where we had parked the car was private property attached to the apartment, so it was still on the property, and that we got emergency relocated. And that's all we said. But the host obviously preempted that we would say something like that and gave us a shocking review saying that we were basically making the whole thing up.
There was a review that was there when we weren't there. He also reviewed it very lowly and thought there was something not quite right about the place.
That's right. After we left, somebody else actually stayed there and said that they felt uncomfortable or something.
And then later on I read a few other reviews, so he's obviously clearly getting 1-star reviews regular.
Yeah.
So I kind of expected him to come back with something.
Of course. He said that he had no evidence that the relocation happened and therefore we'd made it up and we weren't to be trusted. And
but funny enough, he didn't deny the drugs.
He didn't deny the drugs.
He would go to the lengths of making a lot up and making us out to be really bad people. But he didn't even touch the drugs.
He didn't mention it because, like I say, it was obvious what was going on in that location. You couldn't not know. It's horrible to be called a liar and to be made out to be a bad person when we walked into the bad situation. But the more point here is that now that most Airbnb bookings are request bookings, it means that you have to give the host the opportunity to read your reviews before they accept a booking from you. We're now full-time travellers. We can't have a review that says that we're liars on our page.
Well, it doesn't look great, does it?
It doesn't look great.
And why in the would we spend, what was it, 1,400 quid to then leave 5 minutes later and only get 40% back of our money at that point?
Exactly.
Like we're going to just think, oh, I don't fancy this.
No one would make that up.
I'll lose 900 quid and just leave.
Yeah.
Come on.
So
really.
Here we get to the really ugly bit, which is that we obviously contacted Airbnb and said, look, you know what happened. You were involved with this whole thing all the way through. You know that it happened. You know that this guy is retaliating against us and he knows what's going on and you have to remove this review.
I just ignored. They said that the guy didn't break any policy.
Yeah. Even though their first policy for removing bad reviews is retaliation. It was clearly retaliation.
They have not touched the host in any way.
No, they haven't.
He's allowed to rip people off now, continuously.
And for people to be allowed to walk into a dangerous situation. Moreover, the Airbnb now know about.
They do not care who's on their platform, who's running what.
No.
Clearly.
So that review is still on our page, and the only thing that we have been able to do is do a public reply, which is what we've done. And going forward, hope that hosts read our reply as well as reading his review of us.
There is limited options because Airbnb have so many listings on their site, especially self-catering is what they're all about, aren't they? So that's what we do. Booking has its own issues, which we won't get into here.
That's another video.
And there's not a lot else. But
No.
But if you've got alternatives that you suggest, let us know in the comments below.
yeah, let us know, because we've looked at Verbo, we've used booking.com, and we'd love to get something like an apart hotel, but they don't exist on the west coast of Scotland where we want to go for walks, or the middle of the Alps. It's hard to find them. So yeah, give us your suggestions if you know a better way to book short-term self-catering rentals. And let us know if you have ever been in a situation where you've used this emergency relocation service, because we've never heard of it before that evening. We didn't really know what was going on, and we haven't heard of it since, have we?
No, I've never seen a video on it or heard anything about it. So that would be interesting to know if anyone else has done that.
Yeah.
Definitely.
And have you experienced the good, the bad and the ugly of Airbnb? There's a lot of horror stories out there, but we thought this was a pretty unique one that we should share with our viewers.
If it's possible not to think about anything too much and just get on with it, then that's what we'll do.
Yeah.
Obviously, if you walk into a drug den, it's a bit of a different issue, isn't it?
Yeah.
But most Airbnbs you have issues with, whether it's a bed, whether it's...
There's always small things.
Something going on.
That come up.
They put 2 spoons in, you know. They don't leave any dishwasher tablets.
That was the Nottingham place, by the way. There was 3 spoons in the whole place.
I mean, these are normal and they're hassling to a lot of people.
Yeah.
But you get on with it.
Yeah, you do.
So this is just very extreme.
It was very extreme. We've booked in the next 3 months, pretty much, haven't we, of going back into Europe and travelling through Europe again. And we're crossing our fingers, basically, and hoping that this kind of thing doesn't happen again.
And who knows, we might end up on a cruise.
Because then you don't have to think about anything.
No host on a cruise, is there? If you want to see full-time travel at its best, or at its worst, or whatever.
Yeah, it's the true experience, isn't it? It's, you know, life isn't all rainbows and unicorns, and this kind of stuff comes along sometimes. It just unfortunately happened quite early on in our full-time travel life, and but like I said, it's not going to put us off. We're not put off. We are travelling still, and you are invited to come along. So if you've made it through this video, thank you so much for watching it. We really appreciate it. And our next video is going to be all about the wonders of Scotland.
End of month costs coming up. Everything to do with full-time travel. Absolutely.
Yeah.
So subscribe if you're into all that. And yeah, we'll see you in the next one.